The dream car theft 5 years. 5 long years of skipping Starbucks runs, brown bagging lunch, and choosing generic brands at Target. Every month, like clockwork, I'd transfer $400 to our joint savings account, sometimes $500 when I picked up extra shifts at the hospital. The balance grew slowly but steadily. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000. My Honda Accord fund, my dream car fund. The day I hit $25,000, I practically skipped into the Honda dealership on Route 47. I'd been eyeing that silver 2024 Accord for months, test-driven it twice, and even gotten pre-approved for the remaining financing. The salesman, Dave, recognized me immediately and smiled. "Ready to take her home today?" I nodded, heart racing with excitement. This was it. After 5 years of sacrifice, my dream was finally within reach. Dave pulled up my account information on his computer, then his expression shifted. His smile faded. "Ma'am, I'm showing your account balance as $247.83. The floor disappeared beneath my feet. My vision blurred. $25,000 gone. My life savings vanished like morning mist. I called the bank right there, in the dealership parking lot, hands shaking so badly I could barely dial. Michael, my husband of 3 years, had withdrawn $24,152.17 yesterday afternoon. A single transaction. Everything I'd worked for, everything I'd sacrificed for, gone in one swipe of his debit card. Updated. Sitting in that dealership parking lot, I felt like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out my heart. 5 years of dreams, gone. I kept thinking there had to be some mistake, some explanation. Has anyone else ever felt that moment when your whole world just shifts? The drive home from the dealership felt like a funeral procession. My hands gripped the steering wheel of my ancient 2009 Corolla, the same car I'd been driving since college, the same car that had been limping along on borrowed time for the past 2 years. Michael had always been impulsive with money. When we got married, I knew this about him. He'd buy expensive workout equipment that gathered dust, upgrade his gaming setup every year, and somehow always find money for his weekend golf rounds while claiming we couldn't afford date nights anymore. But this felt different. This wasn't a PlayStation or a new driver. This was my entire future, my security, my independence. I'd started the car fund before we even met. Fresh out of nursing school, working double shifts at Presbyterian Hospital, I'd opened that savings account with my first paycheck. When we got married, I'd moved it to our joint account because I thought that's what married couples did. I thought we were a team. The Honda Accord wasn't just about having a newer car. Growing up, my mom's old Buick broke down constantly. I'd spent countless Saturday mornings waiting for Ada in grocery store parking lots, watching her count crumpled bills to pay for yet another tow. I'd promised myself I'd never live like that, always wondering if my car would start, always one breakdown away from missing work. Michael knew this story. He'd heard it enough times. I found him in our garage when I got home, and my heart sank. A brand new Harley-Davidson sat where my gardening supplies used to be. The chrome gleamed under the fluorescent lights, and I could see the temporary tag still taped to the back. He was running a microfiber cloth over the fuel tank, humming under his breath. When he saw me, his face lit up with that boyish grin I used to love. Pretty sweet, right? I've been thinking about getting one for years, and the dealer had this incredible financing deal. My throat felt like sandpaper. How much? Don't worry about it. I worked out a payment plan. He went back to polishing, avoiding my eyes. Besides, we never really needed 2 cars. You work close enough to take the bus sometimes. The casual dismissal in his voice made something crack inside my chest. This wasn't just about the money. It was about what I meant to him, what my dreams meant to him. That was my car money, Michael. He finally stopped polishing and looked at me. Come on, it's not like that. We're married. It's our money. This benefits both of us. How does this benefit me? He gestured at the bike like it was obvious. We can take weekend trips together. It'll be fun. I stared at him, this man who'd promised to support my goals, who'd listened to me talk about that Honda for 3 years, who'd never once suggested we take weekend trips before. He genuinely seemed to believe what he was saying. I worked extra shifts for 5 years for that car, and now we have this instead. His voice carried that edge it got when he felt cornered. It's not like you really needed a new car anyway. The Corolla still runs. That night, after he'd gone to bed, I sat at our kitchen table with my laptop and started researching. I'd never thought I'd need to know about asset recovery or marital property laws, but there I was at 2 a.m. taking notes like I was studying for finals. The next morning, I called Patricia Chen. She'd handled my sister's divorce, and while I wasn't ready to think about that word yet, I needed to understand my options. Patricia's office felt like a confessional. I laid out everything: the bank statements, photos of the motorcycle, the financing agreement I'd found crumpled in Michael's jeans pocket. She listened without judgment, occasionally asking clarifying questions. "The good news is that you have excellent documentation," she said finally. "The challenging part is that he's your spouse, and the money was in a joint account. We can trace the contributions back to you, but it won't be a simple process." She explained that recovery would likely take months, not weeks. Even if we won, enforcement could be complicated. If Michael had already spent money on the bike that he didn't have, getting it back might require him to sell it, which could take time and might not cover the full amount. "I need to ask, are you prepared for this to potentially end your marriage?" I'd been asking myself that question for 3 days. The answer scared me, but it was getting clearer. When I got home that evening, Michael was in the garage again, installing some kind of chrome accessory. He looked up when I walked in, and something in my expression must have warned him. "Look, I know you're upset about the money thing, but we can work this out. Maybe you could start saving again, and in a couple years, I'm not starting over. Because you stole 5 years of my life." The word hung in the air between us. Stole. He flinched like I'd slapped him. "That's not—" "I didn't steal anything. We're married. Married people share things. Married people also discuss major purchases. Married people respect each other's dreams." His face was getting red now, the way it did when he felt attacked. "I was trying to do something nice for us. Something exciting. All you ever talk about is practical stuff. Reliable cars, sensible purchases. Sometimes you need to live a little." That's when I understood. This wasn't about the money or even the motorcycle. This was about how he saw me, as someone whose dreams were small and boring, whose priorities didn't matter, whose years of sacrifice were just practical stuff. "You're right," I said quietly. "I am practical. Practical enough to document every deposit I made into that account. Practical enough to keep records. Practical enough to hire a lawyer." Updated. The look on his face when I said the word lawyer was something I'll never forget. Pure panic. Suddenly, he wanted to work things out and communicate better. Funny how that works. Has anyone else noticed how some people only want to talk when they're in trouble? The legal process wasn't the clean victory I'd imagined. Patricia filed for asset recovery, but Michael fought it. He hired his own lawyer, somehow found money for that, and claimed the motorcycle was a marital asset purchased for both of us. The court hearings dragged on for 4 months. Each session meant taking time off work, sitting in uncomfortable chairs, listening to lawyers argue about my life like it was a math problem. Michael's attorney painted me as controlling and vindictive. My attorney painted him as reckless and deceptive. Neither portrait felt like the whole truth. During those 4 months, Michael went through stages. First came the anger. He'd slam doors, mutter about vindictive women and gold diggers. Then bargaining, offers to sell the bike and split. The money, promises to pay me back over time, suggestions that we go to couples counseling. When none of that worked, he tried guilt. He'd leave articles about the importance of forgiveness on my nightstand. He'd remind me about good times we'd had, inside jokes the weekend we'd spent at his sister's lake house. The worst part was that some of it worked. Late at night, lying in our bed listening to him breathe, I'd remember why I'd fallen in love with him. The way he'd bring me coffee when I worked night shifts. How he'd rub my feet after 12-hour days at the hospital. The way he'd laugh at movies that weren't even funny. But then I'd remember sitting in that dealership parking lot, and the feeling would pass. Judge Harrison's decision came down on a Tuesday morning in November. The court ordered Michael to return $18,000, not the full amount, because his lawyer had successfully argued that some of the money had been marital funds from his income too. Michael would have to sell the motorcycle to pay the judgment, plus court costs and legal fees. It wasn't everything, but it was enough. Walking out of that courthouse, I felt hollow rather than victorious. This wasn't what winning was supposed to feel like. 18 months later, I'm writing this from my Honda Accord. Not the 2024 I'd originally wanted, but a 2022 with 30,000 miles that I bought with the settlement money and a small loan. It's silver, like I'd dreamed, and it starts every single morning. The divorce was finalized last spring. We sold the house and split the proceeds. Michael kept his motorcycle. By then it was worth less than what he owed on it, so I didn't fight for it. I heard through mutual friends that he moved in with his brother, then got his own apartment, near his work. Some nights, driving home from the hospital, I think about parallel universes where I might have handled things differently, where I might have been more patient, more understanding, more willing to compromise. In those universes, maybe we worked things out, maybe we learned to communicate better. But in this universe, the real one, I'm the woman who chose herself, who fought for her dreams even when it meant losing everything else. The car runs beautifully, smooth and quiet, exactly as reliable as I'd hoped. The freedom is worth more than the Honda, though. The knowledge that I don't have to ask permission to pursue my goals, don't have to justify my dreams to someone who sees them as selfish or small, don't have to wonder if the person sleeping next to me respects me enough to include me in decisions that affect my future. Michael texted me last month. Just a simple, "Hey, how are you?" Like we were old friends catching up. I read it, felt nothing, and deleted it. Some bridges aren't worth rebuilding. Updated. It's been almost 2 years now, and people still ask if I regret everything that happened. The honest answer? Some days, yes. Divorce is hard, even when it's necessary. But I've never regretted standing up for myself. Would you have fought for your dreams or tried to make it work?